Donald Trump's repulsiveness has no boundaries. He is publicizing that they are hosting an awards benefit for the January 6th hostages, aka criminals. So I want to remind the listener that Marjorie Taylor Greene was planning on having a January 6th award ceremony or some type of ceremony for them. Once the owners of the venue were told what the organizers were planning, they canceled the event. So Mar-a-Lago literally is the only place these people could be honored. And what's so amazing about this is I might remind you that he calls the January 6th people hostages. Let me play you a video of one of his rallies.
Please rise for the horribly and unfairly treated January 6th hostages.
And his ugly ass salutes. It's so repulsive.
Isn't it a different Star-Spangled Banner, like one for the convicted felons that beat up cops and attempted a coup? Didn't they change the words?
Yes, correct. And here's the irony of the whole thing. Yesterday, at one of his interviews / rallies, whatever you call them, stream of consciousness in public, he says,
and I found there was a bill from the early 1900s. We don't do bills like that anymore. This said, if you touch government property, statues, monuments of any kind, you will serve 10 years with no probation, no early getting out. You go to jail for 10 years. Very simple. It was beautifully stated. It was like one paragraph.
So by his logic, the people for whom he's hosting the gala should do a 10-year mandatory sentence.
no probation.
No probation.
That's what the hypocrisy is. The hypocrisy is deafening and it's gross and it's nonstop. It's nonstop. The January 6th hostages were 140 people were injured. People died. And he is hosting benefits for them / honoring them at his rallies with their stupid song. And then has the audacity to say, if you touch a monument, it's a 10-year prison sentence. What kills me about that is he has no idea that the legal system is overrun with stupid crimes. And these are stupid crimes. Touching a monument, I mean, every person that's ever taken a selfie would go to prison by his terms. It's gross. It was just when I saw that clip yesterday of him saying that, just the hypocrisy started running through my mind of how egregious his behavior is and the irony. And then just a little roundup because he is so repulsive, as we all know. So he is in an interview yesterday and goes on about how sophisticated he is and how smart he is, which we all know to be false.
You know, I always look for good words. Highly sophisticated. Yeah, I'm highly educated. I like sophisticated words, but there's only one word I get. They're stupid. They're stupid people.
And then on top of telling us how smart he is, he can't make sentences.
The biggest risk today, you know, when I hear these poor fools talking about global warming, they don't call it that anymore. They call it climate change because, you know, some parts of the planet are cooling and warming. It didn't work. So they finally got it right. They just call it climate change. They used to call it global warming. You know, years ago, they used to call it global cooling. In the 1920s, they thought the planet was going to freeze. Now they think the planet's going to burn up.
He makes no sense.
This is just elementary school stuff where a lot of the population makes a carve out for this man who obviously engages in this duplicitous behavior where he excuses one of the worst things that's ever happened to our democracy that we all saw live on national television, that the world saw live on national television. Within moments of watching it, and you saw that there wasn't backup coming, you knew it was an inside job immediately. You knew that that's what he wanted to do. And when people dig deeper into it, the organizations that help fund, get all of these people on buses to get to DC, all of the breadcrumbs go back to places like the Heritage Foundation and all of these conservative think tanks that helped, attempt to overturn. But when it comes to the climate stuff, Everybody knows that there's a complete difference between climate and weather. A man who is running for president of the United States for the third time, this is who the Republicans have put up for the third time, doesn't know the difference. But Trump every single day is a walking, talking, hypocritical, immoral, convicted felon disaster, day in, day out, 24/7, 365. Who are these Americans that vote for him?
Well, I think that, number one, they identify with his anger and rage. They're angry. They think they are being marginalized because they're white men, because that's his biggest voting bloc outside of evangelical fundamentalist Christians. And they fucking love him. And that is the hypocrisy and the transparency that we've all known was out there, but it's just coming to light. Because what would Jesus do to a person like Donald Trump? I mean, it's jaw-dropping. I can't believe with a straight face these evangelicals will sit there and say, oh, well, he's my guy. Because what is it about him that you like? Is it the porn stars? Is it the Playboy bunnies? Is it demeaning people? Is it the sexism, the misogyny? Or is it straight up that you like the fact that he is a unmitigated racist and sexist?
It's the cruelty. They like the cruelty. And there's something that the psychological soil has been set for these people through attending these hellfire damnation forms of Christianity, these churches that they go to, where it's a very black and white worldview. If you're good, you go to heaven. If you're bad, you're going to burn in hell forever. Which, if you think about the psychological impacts of being told that from a very young age, that this being loves you, but you're going to burn. Your skin's going to burn off, and then it's going to grow again. It's going to burn off again. It's going to grow again. So cruelty has been a part of their psyche their whole lives. And how white men who have the whole world teed up for them are living in anger is just beyond me. And it just shows you how much we need women in places of power, minorities in spaces of power, to help mitigate this white, low T, I would say, group of men that are madder than hornets all the time, because it's ridiculous. I mean, Trump is predictable, but I talked about this yesterday, but you hadn't heard the clip. So I want to play this for you because I think it's just absolutely hilarious. And this is Trump talking about how hot he is. Let me play the clip.
Sort of like a hot guy. I was hot as a pistol. I think I was hotter than I am now when I became president, okay? I don't know. I said to somebody, was I hotter before or hotter now? I don't know. Who the hell knows? Who the hell knows? Who the hell cares, right?
So here he is, a candidate for president of the United States, talking about how hot he is, hotter than a pistol.
Hotter than a pistol.
He's so hot. Who the hell knows how he got so hot? It's this big mystery. Can you imagine the Jesse Waters freak out if Kamala Harris walked up to the lectern at a rally and started talking about how hot she was?
No, the hypocrisy is gross. In fact, when you were playing that, I thought, can you imagine Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris talking about how hot they are? This is an unserious person. I mean, he is absolutely a megalomaniac. He actually thinks that he's hot, which to me is the most striking thing of that entire clip, because he is the least fuckable man on the United States.
I would say Ted Cruz.
I don't know. When I think about the orange makeup dripping, I kind of go with Donald Trump.
Yes. Okay, let me play you this other clip. And this is one of the biggest lies that Trump gets away with. And it is that he is a champion for veterans and a champion for the military. And mind you, just in the last 24 hours, hundreds of Republicans that have worked for the Bush administration, Mitt Romney, John McCain, have all come out and signed a letter discussing how dangerous this man is for democracy, how unfit he is for all of the reasons that we talk about all day, every day, Monday through Friday. But here he is talking about his former Chief of Staff, John Kelly, a retired 4-star general. And in this clip, Trump confirms that he did call service members Suckers and losers. Let's play the clip.
The one confirmation was a guy that I fired, a terrible, stupid person, actually, that couldn't do the job well. And I fired him. And he sort of confirmed it. I don't know how he confirmed it, but he did.
What strikes me about this is how many millions of Americans can overlook all of the people that served in the Trump administration that have come out and said, Trump is a very unhinged individual. I cannot endorse him. His own vice president. When you look at the RNC, there were no major politicians that stepped on stage that endorsed him. You had all the unserious, ridiculous Christian nationalists. You had Holly. You had childless cat lady Lindsey Graham. You have unfuckable Ted Cruz, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Matt Gaetz, all of these QAnon wackadoodles. This, I will never understand how millions of Americans can overlook all of the warning signs and what they saw with their own eyes on January 6th and continue to think that this man is pro-military, is pro-police force, is pro-democracy. And him running around lying, acting like all of a sudden he's pro-choice, is just more than I can take. He said in an interview that he thought that women who get abortions, that there should be some form of criminal punishment. He's been all over the board, but all you have to do is look at this man's actions. He appointed 3 Supreme Court justices who lied during their hearings and who did not honor Roe as the law of the land. And because of that, women are bleeding out, unable to receive treatment in states, and there is massive suffering. But the Republican Party's answer to all of this is, oh, no. He didn't ban it. He just sent it back to the states. That's a big misnomer. No, it's banned in, I think it's over 20-something states. It is banned, and they want to go further. And let me tell you how much further they want to go. They want to go after birth control. And here is a top Trump advisor, and he signals that he supports Project 2025 plan to go after birth control.
There was never a chronic disease treatment ever until the birth control pill in 1960. And the medical system said, oh my gosh, somebody could take a pill for longer than a week. It used to just be antibiotics and, you cure the issue. In 1960, 0% of the medical budget was chronic conditions. Today, it's 95%.
So there they are. Their next step is birth control. First step was overturning Roe. Next step is a federal abortion ban. And then after that, it's birth control. And why? Because they see how successful women are when they're liberated from the patriarchy. And why are these white men angry that you discussed earlier? Because they don't hold all the power and they don't want to share and they feel so entitled. So when they see women and they see minorities and they see members of the LGBTQ plus community have success, their default setting is to deny them the access to being successful and to denigrate them. Oh, she's a DEI hire. Oh, Barack Obama was born in Kenya. And we have to fight harder now than we ever have because we have made so much progress. And we saw during the Trump administration how quickly it erodes. It erodes so quickly. I mean, just with the snap of a finger, it seems like I saw the Obama White House lit up in the pride colors, and it was gay marriage is the law of the land. And it was like, oh my gosh, we are really moving. We are really a country of progress. And then that dark day that Trump gets elected, and then it's just a shit show ever since, sucking up to Putin, sucking up to Viktor Orban, sucking up to Xi, sucking up to Kim Jong-un, writing him love letters. It's the weirdest shit you've ever seen. And then it just keeps going. And then he's taking a victory tour, lying nonstop about overturning Roe, saying that everybody wanted it. Nobody wanted it except for a small portion of white men and some deeply internalized misogynist women. That's it. That's the list. Beyond that, it is a wildly unpopular idea. And so I think it's just so incredibly important that we keep applying pressure not only to Donald Trump's hypocrisy, but asking these Americans that are making a carve out for this man, how? How are you doing it? How do you justify voting for him? What is the mental and moral gymnastics that you have to go through as a person who says you love your country, you love the military, you love women, you love democracy? How do you do it? How do you get there? Because I don't get it. And how do you even say you're a person of faith and then say, this is my guy? It's jaw-dropping.
It is jaw-dropping. And all of it, the hypocrisy. He's at Arlington Memorial Cemetery. He doesn't believe in the military. All the Republicans vote against any type of military care. He fired 9,000 Veteran Affairs employees under his watch. He doesn't give a fuck about women. That's obvious because he's so proud of overturning Roe. Cops, my God, he's hosting January 6th awards for people that attacked police officers. So the hypocrisy is never ending. I'm with you. How do you justify it? How do you support it?
That's the question, listener. How are the people in your lives justifying this? This is not the time like 25 years ago to say, oh, we just don't talk about politics. This is the time to talk about politics with those people in your life that are decent people that have somehow gone through the wormhole and through the rabbit hole to vote for this horrific fascist. So stick with us for more hot takes. Make sure you subscribe here. Make sure you subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts, and we will see you tomorrow.
It's so